Aloha everyone, come along as we harvest our gobo plant, or by another name, a burdock. A while back we experimented by making these 2-cylinder types of planting containers to plant our first gobo. So we made 2 cylinders and then we also planted some in a 5-gallon pot. And we waited to see what the results would show. Here's the growth of the 5-gallon pot and the cylinder. We needed to use a mallet on the cylinders because it was difficult to remove the plant. So my husband kept tapping on the container and pulling by the leaves, and it finally came out, and it looked like a gigantic worm. The roots were wrapped around and shaped like the cylinder container. When looking at this plant, I didn't think that there was anything actually growing in the center, but my husband said there was something, and we found a long gobo. It was a single gobo root. It was nice and long. You can see the size difference as we compare it to our pruner. So now we're going to see how the gobo grew in a larger container. Once again, we have to use the mallet to tap the sides of the bucket and slowly release out the plant. The gobo in the bucket was fairly large and it had several roots sprouting from the main root. This is the second cylinder container and it was a lot more difficult to pull this one out. My husband hit the container several times and kept pulling from the leaves till it finally loosened. This cylinder container had a main root and 2 other roots coming out from the sides. So this was a little bit unusual from the first container. Here is the last container of the gobo. This container had 2 plants growing in the bucket. As we removed it, since there were 2 plants in this bucket, the growth seemed rather small compared to the cylinder containers. So here's the gobo from the 5-gallon bucket and the cylinders. We will continue to grow gobo in our garden, but we'll be using the cylinder type container.